This year we say goodbye to the world's first family. Whatever your political persuasion, I think most would agree that the Obamas have been a class act. President Obama has been unflappable in the face of provocation. Not a whiff of dodgy emails, videotapes or interns. And what other president has such a good sense of humour?
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point. At real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
That's just too good. And Michelle Obama is no shrinking violet, yet somehow she complimented her husband rather than competed with him. When will we ever again have a First Lady who can kick it with Missy Elliott and James Corden in carpool karaoke, while also relax with royalty and heads of state? When will we ever again have an American president who is respected and loved globally like a Kennedy, who has changed the political landscape of America like a Lincoln, and rescued a failing economy like an FDR? The Obamas have set the bar high, which is probably why the current candidates both seem like a trade down. I believe America is forever changed for the better because of them, and we bid them farewell with a heavy heart. So, I saw you two sniggering over there, Rachel Johnson and Nick Ferrari.
I shall bring my co-counsel in, I'm sure, in just a moment. But the case for the prosecution, or the defence of sanity, if Barack Obama has been such a crash-hot president,
yes,
how come Trump is, admittedly, not doing as well as he was, but Trump was doing so well until the sex tapes exploded in his face?
Yeah. I think because actually there is a shift happening in America. The demographics of the country are changing, and there is a part of America that wants to hold on to the past. And I think Trump represented feelings of discontentment. I totally understand why that has happened. And I think that is changing.
You've just told us, June, this is Lincoln meets FDR meets JFK. What are they discontent about?
I think America has had many problems in terms of...
What do you mean had? It doesn't now?
It does, but let me finish. May I?
Yeah, go ahead. Then I'm bringing co-counsel in.
Yeah, then bring the co-counsel in. Has had many problems, particularly, obviously, where race is concerned. And there is there's a huge segment of the country that feels that things are changing in the way that they don't want them to.
Okay.
America is becoming far more progressive, and I think that once Hillary Clinton comes in, there will be a progressive agenda that will forever change that country.
Last couple of points before Rachel gets involved. Let me just put this to you. You quite rightly acknowledge there are surveys that say that, unfortunately, the US has never been divided over race as it is at this moment, and this is pretty poor for a black president. I wonder if you speak to Syrians and Iraqis whether they would agree that Obama's been so fantastic on the world stage. And lastly, for three, his first diktat was going to be that he closed Guantanamo Bay. As we speak, it's still open. Well, he's not been an utter failure, but what he has been is style over substance. He's not achieved a lot.
I completely disagree. Carry on, Rachel. Co-counsel.
Yeah, I think it's hard to have President Obama up there alongside those titans, those Mount Rushmore towering figures, because much as I think he's a fantastic guy and a dude, and he can read out a tweet and make us laugh and drop the mic, I don't think his record matches those previous presidents. I mean, let's not go over everything. He's been strong on some things, you know, gays in the military, race relations. He's tried on gun control.
A failing economy. Let's look at what...
No, the national debt is now much higher than it was when he took office.
But let's look at employment. Let's look at the unemployment levels. Let's look at what he inherited. And before we even go into all of that, I think also, please, let's not forget the significance of the win. So can we have a look at this?
Sure.
Wow.
I mean, I was there.
This is Nick's point.
I was there, and I was covering that for LBC, and I remember walking away from that rally in the park in Chicago, and this very wise old journalist told me, and there were elderly black people weeping, just weeping, and this journalist said to me, you know, he's not going to do it deliberately, But the people he's going to let down first are these people because he just hasn't got enough power. He's not going to be able to deliver.
What more do you want from
hang
him?
on. Not having enough power is about the American constitutional system.
And checks and
It's not
balances,
about him.
yeah.
I agree with you. I think he's a real class act.
I agree.
I think he's, particularly after...
Well, we agree with you too.
Yes.
Yeah, but politically...
But politically, well, Obamacare was a significant change.
Huge.
Which has had a
20
big
million
impact.
people
But
now with health insurance. What more do you want?
Yeah, but that was in the 2 years when he had Congress.
Yeah.
A Democratic Congress. It's very difficult to be president for 6 years when you've got the opponents against you. And actually...
And they have an agenda to go against everything.
She's gone too far, Greg.
But also, yes, she probably has.
She's gone too far. That's
She's
all I
in
want to hear.
love.
I'm saying history will be very kind, and I think that we're going to see a shift
it'll be kind
in America.
To him it'll be kind to him partly because he was the first black president.
And because he's done a good job.
Well.
Yeah.
And he did the job well.
What more do you want?
And his wife is a bit of a star without being... unpleasant or trying to be. She just is.
Herself, yeah.
I mean, you sit and watch that speech she did last week, and you listen to his speeches, and you think, God, what's breakfast like at their?
I know.
They must. Do they both sit there making profound statements to each other?
It's soaring oratory over the Frosties.
Over the marmalade.
June, I understand what you're saying, and I think there's parts of truth in it, but I do tend to side more with Nick and Rachel. And I think for me, one of the things with Obama is I used to sit and watch after yet another mass shooting. I used to see him with tears in his eyes and, feel and talk passionately about getting a handle on these gun controls and stuff. And
which is nearly impossible in
I know,
America.
but I just think when he used to say those things, I used to believe him and I used to will it to be true. I used to see yet another school of children being shot down, and he never really made that much of a dent.
No, but let's look at the auto industry.
You've been a classic tabloid journalist.
Have I?
You've over-egged it. He's been okay, but you've portrayed him as one of the greatest in the world. You've got to stop these tabloid
But what I'm
skills.
saying is, for modern politics, I think when we look back 20, 30 years from now, we are going to see a progressive shift in America, and Obama is going to be part of the start of that. For sure. I don't think the extreme right will ever be back in power again over there.
But you put him in with a bunch of other people. I mean, JFK.
Well,
I
we had to romance it up a bit.
If you go back to JFK, if he hadn't been shot,
I agree.
He would have continued in Vietnam. He would have become one of the most disliked presidents in history. All the civil rights legislation would not have gone through. It all went through because of Lyndon Johnson. So he was lucky. I mean, if you can call being shot lucky, but at least he died.
His legacy was it?
His legacy. I do think, though. I mean, I'm more on your side than their side. I think Obama is
has done a stellar
act.
job.
I wonder if Obama was white. Would you still feel the same? Are you so inspired because he's the first black president?
I'm for sure definitely inspired because he's the first black president. Let's not forget the significance of that. Let's not forget the horrendous problems America has had where race is concerned. But if he were white, I would completely also be inspired by him.
Would you?
In the same way that I was so inspired by Bill Clinton, but as a man, he has many personal failings that a President Obama doesn't have. So I think I give credit where credit is due, but I'm also going to say it is totally significant that he is black and you have a black family in the White House representing a positive image of black people in the way that you don't see enough in the press. So, of course, that matters.
So if he's white, would he have been on your Mount Rushmore?
Yes, because all the other men on my Mount Rushmore were white.
So he's still good enough. He's still good enough to get there.
Of course. Anyway,
he also had the great advantage, of course, of following George W. Bush, whose presentation
now looks good compared to Donald Trump.
Yes, I know. You never thought that would happen, did you? That actually, you're sitting here, lamenting that he's no longer president because we might get Trump.
Exactly.
But I mean, George W. Bush, style-wise, was hopeless, wasn't he?
Yes, he had.
Even you have to.
I mean, Kennedy had great style, but actually the real work was done by Lyndon Johnson, who didn't have style.
But isn't the reality if the Republicans...
Okay, can I get both you and Rachel to agree on one thing?
What's it?
Which is, at least, come on, Obama is the coolest president we've ever had.
So in love with you.
Gotta kiss myself, so pretty. Come on.
Obama out.
Yeah!
Well, if that's how you judge your presidents, that's extraordinary. I don't think I'd ever see Mrs. Thatcher or Angela Merkel doing things like that. Those are worldly...
She wasn't that athletic, was she?
He is the master of the photo opportunity, that's for sure.
And he's a good-looking dude, as you would say.